Africa is a continent full of diversity. It's home to 54 countries and more than 3,000 different languages. So here are the top 8 African countries with coup military. Number 8, Mali. Mali has experienced 2 coups in the past 8 years, one in 2020 and another in 2021. The first coup was led by members of the Malian armed forces, who were unhappy with the government's handling of the ongoing conflict in the north of the country. The coup leaders accused the government of corruption and a lack of progress in the fight against the rebels. The second coup came just a year later when the military leader who had come to power during the first coup staged a palace coup himself and ousted the interim president. The coup leader, Colonel Assimi Goïta, has since been named president and prime minister of the country. He has promised to crack down on corruption and improve security, but has also been accused of lack of commitment to democracy. Despite this, the military remains popular in Mali, and there is little chance of a return to democracy in the near future. Number 7, Burkina Faso. In January 2022, the president of Burkina Faso was ousted in a military coup led by Paul-Henri Damiba, a lieutenant colonel in the Presidential Guard. The coup leaders accused the president of being unable to handle the country's growing security crisis and promised to restore order and stability. However, just 8 months later, Damiba himself was overthrown in another coup led by Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a member of the Presidential Security Regiment. The new coup leader accused Damiba of failing to improve the security situation and of planning a third coup. Traoré has promised to form a transitional government and hold elections within a reasonable time frame, but it is unclear whether or not this will happen. Burkina Faso has also been suspended from the African Union and ECOWAS and faces sanctions from the international community. Number 6, Chad. In April 2021, President Idriss Déby was killed in a battle with rebels. His son, General Mohamed Idriss Déby, then took power as the leader of a transitional military council. The new leader promised to hold elections within 18 months, but this timeline has now been pushed back to 2024. Pro-democracy protesters have taken to the streets demanding a return to civilian rule, but the military has responded with a crackdown. The situation in Chad remains tense, and there is little hope for a peaceful resolution. Chad has also been suspended from the African Union and ECOWAS and faces sanctions from the international community. Number 5, Sudan. The situation in Sudan is particularly dire. In October 2021, the military seized power in a coup d'etat, detaining Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok and other government officials. The coup leader, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, promised to form a transitional government and hold elections, but these plans have now been scrapped. The military has cracked down on pro-democracy protesters and hundreds have been killed. The United Nations has called for the restoration of civilian rule, and the African Union has suspended Sudan's membership. It remains to be seen how this situation will unfold, but it is clear that the military's seizure of power has had a devastating impact on Sudan and its people. Number 4, Egypt. In July 2013, the Egyptian military intervened in the country's politics and ousted President Mohamed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood. The military was led by General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who had been appointed as defense minister by Morsi. The military intervention came amid widespread protests against Morsi's government and the Muslim Brotherhood's political dominance. El-Sisi was seen as the strongman who could restore order to the country after the chaos of the Arab Spring uprising that had led to the overthrow of former President Hosni Mubarak. After ousting Morsi, the military established a transitional government led by an interim president and prime minister. A new constitution was drafted and a presidential election was held in which al-Sisi won in a landslide. Since then, the Egyptian military has consolidated its power and cracked down on dissent. Number 3, Guinea. On September 5, 2021, the president of Guinea, Alpha Conde, was ousted in a military coup led by Mamadi Doumbouya, a Guinean Special Forces officer. Khan had been in power for 11 years, and his rule had been marked by accusations of corruption, mismanagement, and human rights abuses. The coup was met with mixed reactions. While some Guineans celebrated the news, others expressed concern over the instability that it would bring to the country. The Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS has demanded the reinstatement of Khan and the release of all political prisoners in Guinea. But so far, the military junta has been defiant, and there is little chance of a peaceful resolution to the crisis. Number 2, Central African Republic. The Central African Republic is a landlocked country in the heart of Africa. It has a population of over 5 million people and is one of the least developed countries in the world. The country has a history of coups and instability, and the military has played a major role in politics since independence from Dutch rule in 1960. In March 2013, the country descended into civil war. The conflict was largely between two Christian militias backed by France and the Muslim Salika rebels backed by neighboring Chad and Sudan. The fighting has left thousands dead and hundreds of thousands displaced. In September 2013, the military intervened in the conflict and ousted the then president, François Bozize. A transitional government was put in place and elections were held in 2015 and 2016. The country descended into chaos and the military again intervened, seizing power in a coup d'etat. Number 1, Niger. On July 26, 2023, the president of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, was ousted in a military coup led by General Abdourahmane Chiani, the commander of the Presidential Guard. This is the 7th coup in the Sahel region in 3 years and the latest in a long line of military takeovers in Niger. The country has experienced for successful coups and numerous failed attempts since gaining independence from French colonial rule in 1960. So why is Niger so prone to coups? There are a number of factors at play. Firstly, the country is extremely poor and this creates a lot of instability. Niger is ranked 189 out of 191 countries on the Human Development Index, and 75% of the population live in extreme poverty. This makes it easy for military leaders to come to power by promising to improve the lives of ordinary citizens. Secondly, the military is often the most powerful institution in Niger and other African countries. That's all for the day. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos for more updates on the latest news.